Hello, welcome. I am excited to present the introduction to my course, Blooming Your Design, which is the somatic version of the official Living Your Design Human Design course. Today, I am giving a condensed version of the first class of my course. It's also a 1 hour short overview of the entire 18-hour course. Blooming Your Design isn't just about learning the concepts, it's about feeling and living them in real time. We are going to combine the core teachings of human design with practices to help you understand this knowledge on a cellular level so you can integrate your role into the larger ecosystem of life. My hope is that you walk away seeing the beauty of human design and knowing if this course is right for you. Human design is a beautiful system that's been gifted to humanity to help us understand the frequencies behind this illusion that we call reality. I am 4 years into human design. I'm still just as confused about the trajectory of my life as we all are. And the system has helped me be okay with not knowing where I'm going. It's helped me to understand myself in a way that no other system has shown and finally truly love myself. This knowledge is real, it's life changing, and so I take it really seriously. Normally, I talk more of a stream of consciousness style, but today I want to share this in a really specific way. So I'll be referencing my notes a lot. One of the goals of blooming your design is to get you fluent in the language. So I'm going to introduce my energy to you according to human design. I have a projector aura type, which means my aura is deeply connecting to other people's souls for their guidance. Because my aura type deeply connects, my strategy to interact with other auras is to wait for their invitation to connect with them. When others invite me to interact, I have to decide if I will, how I will, where, why, when, to accept the invitation. And I do that best through the emotional layer of my body, of my aura. And I am a 5-1 profile, which means I'm driven to deeply investigate the people and places and things that I've been invited into and that my emotionality has approved of. And after I investigate them or things, I share my perception with others who are often strangers or the collective. I have 5 channels defined and 6 centers associated with those channels defined. This means that everyone who interacts with me is experiencing the energies of these channels and centers. The rest of my centers and channels and gates that don't have activations are undefined, and that's how I'm receiving energies outside of me. And in my course, you'll learn what all of this means and how to communicate it with others. Of course, I'm not just a graph, I'm a full person with a long life and many experiences. So I love this slide because it reminds me of how much I've changed and yet stayed the same. 2011 me was a single mom with an 8-year-old daughter, and I was bootstrapping my way into a marketing career that I didn't have a degree for. I briefly ran across my human design at that time. I pulled my chart and I heard Ra speaking something and I got a big no. I don't remember what I saw or heard, but I do remember getting an internal no at that time. And what I realized looking back at it is that I still had a lot to learn before I could get the green flag to learn this system. So if you are getting a no for this system, if it just doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. It might resonate later. It might not be your system. It is totally fine. 2017 me was a married mom. I just had my 3rd child in this picture. And I had 3 pregnancies in 3 years and only 2 births, unfortunately. But with both children, I had gained over 100 pounds. So I was stressed, I was struggling, and I was questioning life. 2020 me, I had a completely different set of identity markers than I do today. I was a card-carrying libertarian, completing my work with the presidential nominee, Joe Jorgensen, on a national grassroots volunteer campaign and about to revoke politics forever. I was a card-carrying wife to an emotional manifester, just starting a divorce. And I was a card-carrying Christian breaking up with the church because the pastor's wife was discriminating against my non-binary daughter. So yeah, all versions of me, of myself up to that point, didn't know how to make decisions for me, which is pretty common for projectors. Luckily, in 2021, one of my tarot reading friends that I was leaning heavily on for guidance at that time asked me if I knew about human design. I ran my chart and then I was hooked instantly. And my life has been on a wild ride of transformation with deconditioning and simultaneously reconditioning ever since. So today it's 2024. I am at the end of 2024. It's November 2024 right now. I am a professionally trained and mentored human design analyst. I'm a single mom of 3. I'm a host of meetups. I'm involved in community, and every day I'm getting challenged with deconditioning and simultaneous reconditioning. So the reason I'm somehow confident enough to talk about this today is that experimenting with human design in my life has absolutely worked. 4 years from now, I fully expect to be a very different version of who I am right now. And I'm no longer attempting to mentally control that mutation. That being said, mutation and deconditioning is not pretty and it takes time. Human design says that the first round of deconditioning takes 7 years. When I first started this experiment, I didn't really think I had much to decondition from in the first place. I was bitter and I thought it was mostly everyone else that was the problem. And today I'm fully aware and responsible for my reality. I honor the struggles and challenges and pains and all the timelines as part of the ultimate mutation for my signature frequency. I'm also grateful that deconditioning takes long because the reality of what deconditioning actually does to you, if it took quickly, it would be painful, a lot more painful. There are a lot of deconditioning tools that help the process move with greater ease. A couple of those we'll be talking about and maybe experiencing today. I like to say human design is the CAT scan of our energy, allowing you to see where the work needs to happen. And then you can come with different tools and systems and medicines to help me move through it. This is an endless process and there's no destination. Deconditioning takes courage and it takes time. So I feel like human design needs to come with a warning label. So as Morpheus said to Neo, I'm going to give you the warning that I didn't get. This is living revealed knowledge. If it clicks with you, then 90% of what you think you know about the world and yourself is going to drastically change. Either way, your mind is going to be challenged during this presentation, most likely. Whatever is said that does not resonate or make sense could click later, or it might click in a way that's specific to your understanding. So take what resonates or how it resonates and leave the rest. Meanwhile, I am trusting that whatever I'm saying is exactly what needs to be said to someone who is listening. The information comes out and lands differently each time it's shared, and much of it will not make sense until you're ready to hear it. The perspective I'm sharing today is based on where I'm at in my experiment, which could be drastically different in a few years. This knowledge is living and growing. You add your energy into it, and learning it will add your perspective to the body of knowledge. So if you're ready, take a deep breath. We're diving in. You might hear my kids in the background. This is how we roll. So we're going to breathe in, take a kind of get settled a little bit. And it might help to put your hands behind your head and sort of like spread apart your shoulder blades and push your shoulders down. And then use that energy to kind of align your spine and then drop your arms down on your lap. And then from here, you can breathe in from your root and breathe out your heart on the first breath. And then you can breathe in from your head, out your heart on the second breath. And then breathe in from both heart and root into the heart chakra. Hold it, let it spin a little bit, and then breathe it out your heart chakra. All right. Here we go. So first, we're going to start with the biggest picture, non-duality. Non-duality is the concept of oneness, which emphasizes the interconnectedness of all life and the absence of true separation. Across major religions and philosophies, non-duality appears as the belief in a single unifying source, whether it is the Brahman in Hinduism, the Nirvana in Buddhism, the Wu Wei in the Taoism, or Ein Sof in Kabbalah. Each tradition teaches that duality is an illusion and revealing a deeper unity beyond apparent distinctions. And human design proves that. Ultimately, non-duality is the idea that life force is binding all things in a single harmonious whole. Life has a natural intelligence. It is an all-knowing energy. But for life to know itself, the knowing was split from energy. So the one decided to become the two, so that the one could know the who, what, why, where, why, how, all of that, why the I am is. This is the fundamental act of and reason for creation to know itself, so we can create more in an infinite loop of creation throughout all space and time. So our entire universe is a duality that exploded into infinity, the illusion of reality. In human design, we call this the program. It's also been called the Maya. The program is an intelligent environment that exists for creation and evolution. The program is filled with patterns of duality that allow us to interpret the wholeness of life. These patterns are interpreted with systems. All ways of understanding or interacting with the program are a type of system. Each system was created from a unique perspective of the program. And unique perspectives are drawn to unique systems, and they all help us understand the program. Human design is one type of system in an endless number of systems. But since one became two in order to create, duality is inherently creative. Life force creates creation by the mechanism of duality. Newton's third law is for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So if creation is an action, there has to be an equal and opposite reaction. So what is the duality of creation? We could say death, but life and death are dual in nature. But since energy can't be created or destroyed, only transformed from one form to another, death is also creative. So from what I can tell, the dual nature of creativity is homogenization. Homogenization restricts the diversity and therefore the creativity of life. It stabilizes all the elements to create one coherent element. It is the energy of conditioning. This conditioning is an underlying force in all societies, cultures, religions, and systems, influencing how we innovate or how we restrict innovation. It drives processes such as colonization, industrialization, and public education. Transits also act as conditioning forces, imprinting energies that we perceive and interpret mentally. Communities and families require some level of homogenization to function, which inherently conditions the frequencies of their members. The irony of the restrictive nature of homogenized conditioning is that it ultimately places pressure on life force as a catalyst to create more creation. When conditioning aligns with our natural frequency, it creates harmony, which always is inherently, it's not good all the time. Conditioning that's not aligned to our natural frequency isn't always bad either, because it can spark innovation as our creative energy resists those constraints. As we seek to align with our true selves and shed layers of old conditioning, we still remain subject to ongoing conditioning influences. So we are constantly going to be deconditioning as we are humans. So if this knowledge needs a waiver, why are we bother studying it? Besides the fact that it's never-ending investigation and it's wildly interesting. Human design is the study of differentiation, which ultimately reveals your unique frequency as not the frequencies around you. It removes the beige of homogenization so you can find your true colors again. Dehomogenization is deconditioning. When you experiment with this knowledge and in yourself and in your relationships, over time, you will decondition. Deconditioning leads to inner decision making with your body. Inner decision making releases the mental control that hasn't really been working out so far. And releasing mental control leads to better relationships, including the relationship with yourself. The main goal and the highest outcome for human design is to love yourself more by understanding yourself and the world at large with more clarity. So now we're ready to talk about what human design is. Human design is a revealed knowledge that synthesizes ancient systems that humans have used to understand existence and merges all these systems into one system that is simple and easy to experiment with and infinitely complex to understand. So you can watch this 10-minute video that I created. It's also on YouTube that briefly reviews each one of these components. And we'll go over some of these components today. We will, oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just looking at the something else. We'll study all this in greater detail in the full Blooming Your Design course that starts soon. Human design has two main parts. This is the wheel. It's called the mandala, and the chart, which is called the bodygraph. These two components work together as one mechanical system, which are comprised of a few different synthesized systems or pulling information from the universe into our bodies. Human design has multiple schools of thought all woven together to create a new system. It's mostly esoteric, so astrology, the Kabbalahs, the chakras, the I Ching, and there's also the Vedas kind of baked in there as well. It's grounded with exoteric knowledge taught in schools, such as quantum physics, biochemistry, and genetics. Human Design Mandala incorporates three key systems: astrology, the I Ching, and our DNA. So we're talking about just the wheel right now. These systems share similar components, with the I Ching acting as the bridge between astrology and DNA. Astrology provides the cosmic patterns and planetary influences that shape creation and evolution, forming the basis of the illusion of reality. The astrological wheel is further segmented using the I Ching 64 hexagrams, each representing distinct energies or frequencies found throughout nature. These 64 hexagrams are further segmented into 6 lines each, corresponding with the astrological signs' frequencies, thereby creating 384 interpretive possibilities of the star field. The 64 hexagrams are also aligned with the 64 codons in human DNA, aligning with the energetic makeup of all living beings. So each hexagram frequency matches a DNA codon, providing a framework for understanding personal energy patterns in our bodies. Through this overlay, human design interprets how the cosmic frequencies imprint on individuals, connecting the star patterns with our biological and energetic structure via the mechanism of the I Ching. So the I Ching becomes the translation device between those two, between the stars and our bodies. Human design offers a means of translating the cosmic and genetic energies into practical insights that we can use. So this is the mandala. This is actually created by my friend Roger Campbell, an amazing reflector. This is the mandala with all of the hexagrams, astrological signs, codons, amino acids, circuits, channels, and centers, all the way down to the yin, yang, and source. Obviously, we are not studying this today, but I wanted to impress you. So next we have the body graph. And that is the chart inside of the wheel. Normally, whenever you're pulling a human design chart, that's what you're going to see. You may not see the whole wheel, but you will see the body graph. The body graph is translating information from the mandala into practical information into our bodies. The body graph integrates concepts from the Hindu chakras, the Kabbalah tree of life, and again, the I Ching. The Hindu chakras are spinning energy vortex that help us absorb and transmit subtle energies and connecting us to Kundalini, or the spirit that's inside of us. In human design, these 7 major chakras are expanded into 9 energetic centers, providing a deeper understanding of the specific energies of our physical body and our physical mind, our form and our personalities. So the human design centers are actually groups of human design centers are actually groups of the I Ching hexagrams that have similar energetic resonance. The I Ching is the linking device of our energetic field to DNA. So the Kabbalah tree of life is also incorporated into the energetic centers, representing the creation story. It serves as the foundation for the channels that connect the centers in human design, and it facilitates the movement of energies between the circuits. The 10 spheres on the tree of life represent different aspects of the divine and human consciousness, and it also correlates with the 9 centers of human design. This illustration gives you an idea of how the tree of life and the Hindu chakra system were integrated into the Bodygraph. Then the I Ching is the mutual system between the mandala and the Bodygraph, so it becomes the translating device between the stars and our bodies. But you can see here how each one of the systems of the Kabbalah, the Hindu chakra system, and the Bodygraph all kind of correlate. This is not a perfect example or perfect breakdown, but it gives you a pretty good idea about how each one of those charts kind of work together. Okay, so how all of this is held together is through this concept called quantum. So we talked about non-duality and duality, and human design is a system that mostly illustrates duality, which is unified as a non-dual energy. Say that again. Human design is a system that mostly illustrates duality. Every aspect of human design has an aspect of duality, but it's all been unified as a non-dual energy in the quantum. This unification happens via quantum theory, which describes the behavior of the smallest objects like neutrinos and atoms, which create our reality. Properties of quantum objects are counterintuitive, like being able to be in 2 places at once or move through barriers. And it's because all of these particles are actually connected as one. But we'll be studying more about this in the full course and how it's built into human design. But in short, all particles originated from a single point during the Big Bang. This is also described by Thomas Herzog in his no boundary universe theory, where the universe was initially a smooth egg, where all forces were perfectly balanced and quantum effects were merging space and time. And that notion parallels the ancient Vedic belief or concept of the cosmic egg, where everything started as one and infinitely split, creating an illusion of separation while remaining connected by unseen forces. Various cultures, including ancient Egypt, China, India, and Greece, all have their own versions of the cosmic egg myth, depicting it as the source of creation. Quantum is also reflected in toroidal fields, which are circular shaped energy fields that are present in natural phenomena like hurricanes and magnetic fields around the stars. Our Earth's radiation belt is a torus-shaped zone of energetic electrons that surround the Earth's magnetosphere, which also create our ozone layer. And we also have torus fields in the core of our Earth, which create gravity. Toroidal fields also create our aura. The heart chakra, also called the G center in human design, is said to be the engine that drives the torus field of our aura. And the torus field sustain the spins of the chakras. Like the ozone and gravity are compressing the earth to create our reality, or like the Big Bang and the cosmic egg, we're holding all the particles in quantum, our aura contains all of our energy as one, compressed into the duality of our physical body and our conscious mind via the torus field generated from our heart. And we're going to look at this a little bit more deeply and a little bit more in a few slides down. The line in the middle of a torus field is called the axis of rotation. In human design, that line is called the magnetic monopole. The body and mind are held in quantum by the aura via the magnetic monopole in the G center. The magnetic monopole functions as the steering wheel for our aura, to be the driver of our body. Also, we'll be discussing that concept in a couple slides down. Aura is the field that is creating the form principle to allow consciousness to know itself. In other words, the aura is the field that is allowing the entity of our cells to have self-reflected consciousness. The aura is a singular puzzle piece in the wholeness of creation. It's a fragment of source, and it is also source itself. The aura is our self, our spirit, and our soul. It is not inside us. We are inside it. The soul concept is also similar to the Vedic philosophy of Atman, which means the true eternal self beyond external identifications. Atman represents the individual's undifferentiated whole, the universal self-luminous principle. The two dual energies that allow us to experience reality are body and mind, which are both functioning in the brain. Our brain is what operates our form and how our body is designed to function. I'm not moving my arms without my brain. The brain is where all the unconscious functions of our body keep moving without having to think about it. So our breathing, our heartbeat, our digestion, etc. This unconscious energy is where all the memories of our traumas, addictions, scars, and animal body reactions are also stored. In human design, we call this the unconscious functions of our energy, the body. We also call this the vehicle because the brain is operating the entire body. The brain is also where our personality and perception is housed, and we call this aspect our consciousness. This is how we are perceiving how I'm talking to you right now. Conditioning deeply impacts our perception. In human design, we call this energy the mind. It's also called the passenger because it's riding inside the vehicle of the brain. It's the passenger riding along the vehicle of the brain. Again, we'll be talking about this in a few slides. Actually, the next slide. However, the aura, which is holding the body and mind and quantum, is generated from our heart, from our magnetic monopole. And this is our higher mind, our spirit or our soul, which is constantly sending and receiving information to our deeply conditioned physical body and physical mind. And if we're familiar with Bashar, he says the higher mind conceives through the heart. The physical brain receives, and the physical personality mind perceives. And how this works, the aura is sending direction to our body and new thoughts to our mind via the brain. The unconscious body is our vehicle operated by the brain. So you can see there's a vehicle here that we like to show as in human design as our body. And the conscious mind rides along in the vehicle, interpreting experiences. And so we call this the passenger. But the aura is the actual driver of the body-mind vehicle via the wheel of the magnetic monopole, which is placed in the heart. Because the aura is also connected to source, this is where we are receiving new insights and direction. But we don't receive it in our heart usually. We receive it in our brain, and it's affected in our bodies. So we are receiving this information in the body via the brain, and it's perceived by the conscious mind. The physical mind often tries to make decisions for the future, although it's not designed to do that. The true ideas and future guidance stem from the spirit connected to our heart chakra or our G center. So a big part of learning human design is deciphering what thoughts and reactions are spirit, what is conditioning. And we do that through strategy and authority. And that is a big part of what we'll be talking about in the full course. This is also related to the concept of heart coherence. Since the aura is generated from the heart, and when we sync our mind with our heart, we're syncing all aspects of our energy together. So it's an interesting thing to practice with as well. We'll be experimenting with this in the full course. So to pull this all together, the soul exists outside of the program where time and separateness does not exist. It connects and exists in all living beings because everything is one. But the soul of our unique energy is holding the mind and the body in quantum. So the mind energy and the body energy, it's holding all of both energies in quantum. It's delivering information to our brain, and our physical mind perceives it as new ideas, inspirations, instincts, invitations, downloads, passions, joy, etc. Our physical mind makes decisions to take conscious actions for the body. The mind can either make decisions based on the inner guidance of our aura, or it can run off conditioning. When we fully surrender to our higher self, our mind is no longer making decisions. And this is where the concept of no choice is coming from. And we'll also talk about this in further detail in the course. You are not all the parts shown in human design. When you run your human design chart and you see all those different aspects listed there, all the gates and all the everything that's listed there, you are not the individual parts. You are the sum total of all the uniqueness. You carry a unique frequency that has never existed in all of creation throughout space and time and will never happen again. Your auric body is the representation of all these energies, and human design gives us a way to understand your specific nuance. The human design experiment helps your mind to perceive the unique signature of your aura so that you can follow your form to be directed with less interference and less resistance. So a couple of quick technical things that will also be explored more in the full course. Our energy incarnates at the time and place that align with the positions of the planets because we're made out of stars. We're literally made out of neutrinos, which are coming from stars, stardust. So we are made of stars, and everything is one. So we incarnated at the perfect place with the perfect parents in the perfect time, and everything was supposed to be the way it was. As hard as it may seem sometime to our mind. At birth, a snapshot of 13 imprints corresponds with our conscious physical mind. This is our perception, also called our passenger consciousness. And then another snapshot was taken 88 days earlier. That is connected to our unconscious physical body. So it gives us a different set of imprints from the planets of where they were in the star field at that time. There's a total of 26 imprints that shape our energetic makeup, and they're all imprinting here on the wheel, which is then imprinting in the corresponding gates in the body graph. The body embodies our unconscious nature. It responds to the environment and it's holding much of our repressed conditioning, but it's also the vessel that is receiving the guidance from our spirit. Wisdom lies in discerning between the animal body reactions, hormones, patterns, addictions, desires, etc., from the guidance of our higher self. The physical mind allows us to perceive and express our experiences, but our perceptions can be hindered by conditioning. So it's important to understand your perception of things so you can differentiate and decondition from the perceptions of others. Distinguishing between the bodily responses to stimuli and intuitive signals from the spirit is learned by experimenting with strategy and authority. The 26 activations of our mind and body are termed the defined areas of our design. This is defined. And so all of these areas, everything that's colored in, all the conscious and unconscious aspects of the body and mind, these are all defined. And then there's many other areas, all the white areas, they are all called undefined. The concepts of strategy, authority, defined and undefined, along with how the body graph functions, is going to be explored in depth in the Blooming Your Design course. And we're going to be studying our charts and those of the people in our lives to become fluent in human design. The 7 chakra and the 9 centered systems have different uses, but have similarities. So the Hindu chakra system and the 9 center of human design. They are very different uses, and they also have similarities. The Human Design Bodygraph shows the mind and body in a nine-centered format that allows us to see how the dual energies of our mind and body are running in quantum. The seven chakra system is connected to Kundalini, the energy of the spirit, which is activated by the aura or the soul. The majority of Blooming Your Design course involves studying and experimenting with each of the centers and the chakras. All of these systems come together into a single chart that shows your whole self, your Atman, and your conditioned self, your not self. Although most of our deepest conditioning is seen and felt in the undefined or open areas of our design, all aspects of our design, defined and undefined, are affected by conditioning because your surroundings and transits, etc., are constantly impacting your aura. We all have not self. We wouldn't exist without it. Not self is not bad. True self is not good. They're just dual parts of our non-duality, the whole self. We cannot know and love our true self without also knowing our not self. The not self is the result of conditioning, the limitations of environment. You can think of not self as the cocoon. We were all little hungry caterpillars once, munching down on the conditioning of our parents and schools and churches and friends and dreams and traumas. At some point, the caterpillar hardens to create a cocoon. It wasn't always there, but the caterpillar wasn't ready, or it was always there, actually. The cocoon was always a part of the caterpillar body, but the caterpillar wasn't ready to experience it. The cocoon is no longer when it's ready to experience, then the cocoon starts to harden. The caterpillar starts to harden. And then the cocoon separates. It's no longer part of the entity, but it becomes the incubator for something new and beautiful. This is the not self. The incubator transforms the essence into wisdom of whatever it is that we're working in. So when we start to love the not self, we decondition. Then that's the potential of wisdom comes from conditioning, and the butterfly is revealed. The not self rarely goes away, so it's a never-ending process of getting confronted with not self and converting it into wisdom. That being said, conditioning in our not self can definitely cause pain and suffering, and the best way to lessen the pain and suffering is to know it and to love it. Which is why we study our not self in great detail in the full course. Human design provides practical tools that allow us to decondition our not self from homogenization. We do this through watching the signposts and experimenting with strategy and authority. These concepts are fully experimented and studied with in the full course, but I'll give a quick overview. Strategy and authority is the experiment of human design. No matter how long you are in your experiment or how much knowledge you obtain, you will always come back to strategy and authority. Strategy and authority is based on your aura. There are 4 aura types: generators, projectors, manifestors, and reflectors. Each of the aura types have a unique function in the universal creation life cycle. The generator aura type is separated into 2 functions: generators and manifesting generators. So there are a total of 5 aura functions: manifestors, projectors, manifesting generators, and reflectors, all part of the universal creation life cycle. And we will talk about all of that in the full course. Each aura type has a path of least resistance to interacting with others, and strategy is the way that we experiment with that interaction. And we all have an internal guidance system that allows our mind to receive direction from our soul. This is called authority, and there are 7 types of authority. Each person has one ideal strategy and one primary authority. We uncover each of the aura types, functions, strategies, and authorities in great detail in the course. Learning all of the different strategies and authorities will help you to help other people in your life, which ultimately improves your life and creates a ripple effect of alignment all around you. A key element to seeing and catching your not self so that you can transmute it with love is learning the signposts of it. If the mind is supposed to take a back seat as the passenger in our vehicle, rather than being the driver, it needs to understand, our mind needs to understand, so that it needs to understand what the vehicle is trying to say via our aura, so that we can be aligned. When the body and mind are in agreement, your aura is freely moving and you'll experience your signature frequency. Each aura type has a theme for the signature frequency. For generators, it's satisfaction; manifestors, it's peace; projectors, it's success; and reflectors, it's surprise. Although the aura types have signature themes, you have your own unique signature frequency that is the combination of the different, excuse me. You have your own unique signature frequency that is the combination of the differentiated aspects of your design. Most of the time, you won't even notice when you're humming along at your signature frequency, except for maybe the ecstatic moments of your life. However, when the body and mind are not aligned, you will experience the not self theme. Each aura type has a not self theme. Generators are frustration. Manifestors are anger. Manifesting generators are frustration and anger. Projectors are bitterness. Reflectors are disappointment. The frequency of the not self is designed to be obvious to the mind. It is the red flag from your aura trying to alert your mind. How your mind interprets this red flag will roughly depend on how aware you are of what is happening at the time. Making decisions while you're experiencing your not self theme will most likely lead to negative karma, which will lead to more lessons that you get to learn from and hopefully more wisdom over time. By experimenting with your strategy and your authority and watching for the signposts of your not self, you'll slowly decondition and experience more of your unique frequency. So I hope everybody enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback and your questions. But first, I want to ask you to check into your inner GPS while I ask you a few questions. How did you feel about this material? What did you think about the presentation and my teaching style? Who is getting a yes for the Blooming Your Design course? This course was designed by Ra. It's an officially recognized course from the International Human Design School. I'm adding some new investigations and experiments and somatic practices into the course. It's an 18-hour long course with 9 classes over the course of about 3 months. We will be meeting for 2 hours every week to go through every center in detail, all the aura types, all the strategies and authorities. During the classes, we'll be working with practical tools and experiments for all of it so that you can get this knowledge in your body, and then you'll be able to share it with others. We will also have study groups in between and some interesting homework experiments that will be involving the people in your life who are willing to participate with you. This is traditionally the class that comes right after your first reading, and it's also recommended that you have a reading before you take the course. So for my reading clients who've already had a reading, I'm offering a 10% discount. But if you've never had a reading, you can also buy a reading from me and the course for 15% off the total off. So if you've already had a reading from someone else, it's totally fine, and it's time to take the course. The investment is $444, and I can do a payment plan for $111 for 4 payments, and the first one starts on the first day of the class. So thank you all for listening, and I look forward to hearing back from you. If you want to talk with me privately, you can schedule some time with me on my appointment scheduler on my website, which is kaisiedailey.com, KAISIEDAILEY.com. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.